Okay. So, across the street. All right, I guess it wasn't a cat. It was just there was some plants up there. But I swear there are cats there in the summertime. All right, we got to cross this area right here. But we're going to walk around this little area right here. And it doesn't look very exciting, but we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. Okay, now that we are across and we are here. Now, you might be able to guess that this is a school. We got like the little outdoor area. Quite old. And again, kind of what I've been talking about. Another example. Although we got some young lads out here playing football. Школа номер 315. Yeah, this is, I gotta get my notes open again because I don't remember. I don't have all this stuff. What year was this built? Do I not have? No, I don't have this in my notes. Anyway, this is from that same time period as the ensemble houses that I showed a little bit ago. Early 1930s. Again, constructivist. Look at the windows. The windows are a clear giveaway. I know, like, I'm not doing like an architectural tour. This is not the whole idea of these videos, but we're just in one of those regions. Fortunately, unfortunately, it's kind of up to you. But there is, aside from the fact that it is constructivist, this is kind of a special school because it was one of the first, I'm going to quickly cross. It was one of the first schools that was built after the revolution. It was experimental, obviously, in its constructivist design. You can see that, right? All of the parts of the building that jut out. Nothing's very flush. There's no consistency necessarily. And anyway, this experimental design, like I said, was one of the first. Was built after the revolution, and it was supposed to be a model for what the other future schools of the new Soviet Union or of the new Bolshevik communist state would be. But they kind of figured out that it was not super cost effective, and they nixed those plans. So, yeah, again, this is the region. This is Krasnoselskaya. We got some old houses, old 5-story houses. What am I doing? Can I talk? I guess not. Obviously you can see they've knocked down a number of buildings, but if you actually go to Yandex Street View, you will find that the buildings that they tore down were not in the greatest condition, and they probably weren't going to get much use anyway. You don't know what this little pinkish building is, but I am curious. See, we're just walking. I don't know. Is it anything? No, it's just like offices, so still, I don't know. Call me old-fashioned. Don't call me a Luddite, but call me old-fashioned. I really like it because this is probably a historical building, right? It's not, almost certainly not a new building that they've built to specifically resemble an old one. I like it when they keep the old buildings and they fix them up and they just they use them for offices or whatever. I mean, like, they're going to use them for offices regardless, but they're going to build businesses and offices regardless. But yeah, when you can keep this, right? This has got to be a historical building. If this is not a historical building, then I would also say I'm A-okay with them in older regions like this. Wait, there's a step there. Building these types of buildings, I think, I don't know. I know that there are some buildings in this part of the city too, especially over by Metro Baumanskaya, where they have built completely new buildings and they're not reconstructions or anything like that. But they build them to specifically look like old style. And so if you didn't know any better, you would just assume that it's a reconstructed building, and it fits right in with like the general atmosphere of the area. So I don't know if that's a historical building or if that's just a new one that's mimicking that historical style, but I don't have anything against new architecture or new houses like these that are being built right here. I think that's fine. One of the things with Moscow is it does have a very mixed architectural style, and that's actually one of the things that's fun about it. Once you start to understand the city and understand the architecture, you can. It's like geology. You're digging through the different strata, the different layers of the city's history. So it's not a Petersburg in that regard, but I do wish they would be a bit more picky with what they choose to demolish, or not as ham-fisted perhaps. But anyway, we still got, this is more of that same school, more of that same constructivist school. The one feature of the school that really makes it actually even more interesting than obviously just like constructivism, because constructivism is like it's good and well, but it's also like there's only so much of it you can take. There's one special feature about this school that no other school in Moscow has. This is the only school in Moscow with this feature. I'm gonna go turn up the side street here. We'll take a look. So, in a second, I don't know how far up we're gonna have to go, but please be close. No? Okay, I guess. Actually, I'm gonna cross the street here too, because it'll be easier to see from the other side of the road. If you were paying attention as I walked past it the first time too, you might have noticed it. I just did not call attention to it, so. Okay. Any second now. Be nice. What do we got? The Moscovский драматический театр художественной публицистики. What? I'm not even going to translate that. I don't even understand what that means. I mean, like, I understand what the words are. I just don't understand, like, what they're trying to say by that. Am I hallucinating? Where? All right, now I feel like a bit of a doofus. Ah, okay. Wow, I had to really basically go all the way back to where we started from. So, and I am just actually going to cross the street again. God damn it. Okay. So, up on top of the building, you might notice a bit of a strange structure. That is an observatory. This is the only school in Moscow that has its own observatory. Now, I don't know if it's functional. It doesn't look very functional. Kind of looks pretty rusted over. But like I said, this was built because it was constructivist, and it was going to be like a new model for the schools. And obviously, astronomy in the 1930s was a big thing. All of the talk connected to the cosmos and anything connected to that. So trying to instill that sense of wonder or a desire to study those things further in school-age children would have been a big thing. Now, again, like I said, was not very cost effective. This is the only example of it here in the city, but nevertheless, it's there, which is pretty cool. It's kind of easy to miss. I feel like probably unless you go to school here or live in this area, you might not have even heard of it or recognized it or blah, 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 blah. Okay. Yo, not gonna lie. I have been walking and talking for maybe a bit longer than I intended, but yeah. I don't know. We're gonna go down to the end of the street. There was something I have marked down at the end of the street. It's probably just like an old building, but yeah, I guess we'll go down there. I don't know. I got nowhere in particular to be. And there's really not too much else to show in this region. Is there? No, we're not going to go down there. You can. I'll go up here. We got a flower market here. I don't know. Obviously, during the Soviet Union, this would have been just like a regular market. It is now a flower market. But you know what? You know what? Gosh darn it, we are going to go down there. We're walking, right? We are here to get an idea of the region. Got more constructivist apartments, obviously, houses. Across the road, we'll go over towards the flower market. Should we go into the flower market? Shall we? Maybe we will. We'll see. There's an old building down here I wanted to take a look at. I guess we can take a look at what's going on construction-wise here. Now, this is not a guarantee, but when you see this type of construction going on next to houses like this, then it's probably only a matter of time before they're next on the chopping block. So, you know, it's one of those situations where maybe it's good that I'm coming down here to film this, because who knows, maybe in 5 years' time, these last few, well, probably not that newer one, but this last little house here, this last holdout might be gone. This flower market might be knocked down. It's hard to say. I just wanted to see this pink brick building. That's it. Oh, what is this thing? Hold up. All right, we're going back by the dumpsters here because I want to get a... Look at this thing. What is this? What is this building? Oh my God, I'm sorry. So I am glad. I got like it's magnetic, so I can kind of... Look at this. It's got the brick wings on the sides, and then in the middle there, it's got like a wooden second story that they built onto it. It's probably like not anything super crazy, but just the fact that it's so kind of bizarre and just here. What the hell is this thing? I don't know, but that's a cool building. I like it. I don't know. These buildings are nice too, but the thing is, they build so many of them, and they are always building them, and they just all kind of look the same. Not to say that these historical buildings don't all look the same if you see them over and over again. Again, with the constructivism in this region, if you see it again and again and again, it just kind of blurs into one solid mess. But when there's a smattering of different styles, you have this nice tapestry. And again, that's one of the reasons that I do love Moscow. It's a fucking motley dog, but all of those things that come together in that mix are what make it so interesting as a city. It's not like, it's historical. Like I said already, it's like, it's geological. It's historical, but it's historical in the same way that like, anyway, I was gonna compare it to gumbo, I guess, where it's like a bunch of random stuff thrown into a pot, and it probably shouldn't work, but it does work, right? I don't know if we're probably not going into the flower market. Let's be real. This looks a little bit too, and my hand is getting hella tired from holding on to that. Yeah, we're not going in there. That's just materials for people who own flower shops, basically. Obviously, you can buy the flowers too there, but we're not going to do that. Okay, so you can see Titica over there. You can see the off-ramp from it. We're gonna move in that direction. We are honestly kind of, sort of coming to an end of this region, but not really. Okay, once again, we're gonna walk past the school with the observatory. And this brick building here, this modern new brick building, I think it's 9 stories, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I don't know, I guess it's 9 if we count the first floor as 2. Do we count the first? It's like 9 stories. I don't know, 8, 9, however you want to count it. So, in a previous video, when I talked with that lovely babushka, I talked and I said one of the things I wanted to film was the Rusakovsky Жилmassiv. And this brick building right here is where one of them used to be. See, a few years back, and honestly for about the last 20 years, the city of Moscow has been working to tear down these buildings over here, right? This is one of the Жилmassiv buildings that I was referring to before. Built again in the early 1930s. These were supposed to be the model homes for what they were going to build en masse in the early days of the Soviet Union. And there used to be one right here. We're going to go a little bit further down. There's another. They have torn down 4 of them. Only 2 of them remain. There were 6 total. 4 of them have been torn down. This new kind of soulless, right, characterless European style, if you will, apartment building. Nothing wrong with it, right? But this also feels like this could just be standing in a field in the middle of the Moscow Oblast and would be just in place, or like would be just as fitting there. I understand. I understand that ultimately cities grow, cities change, and buildings also come to an end of their life cycle. And they either can tear them down or they can do reconstruction. But the thing is, specifically with the Жилmassiv, like this building right here and then the next one over, local activists campaigned very, very seriously. They gathered 6 tomes worth of material to talk about why these buildings are historical, architectural artifacts, why they should be preserved. They even found investors who were willing to, well, it's not there anymore, who were willing to buy the buildings and then restore them and turn them into a hotel. But the city declined that offer and instead tore them down. Now, it's kind of hard to see from this side of the street, but I'll do my best. Yeah, again, it's constructivist. Does it have more character than that building? I don't know. You be the judge there. I personally prefer this. The off-center balconies, the like kind of some of them larger, some of them shorter. The windows that are different depending on what apartment you're in. Like it's experimental. It's different, and it has a little bit more character than just, again, this cookie cutter stuff. I don't know. I complain about it a lot, and you're probably sick of me complaining about it, but I'm gonna complain about it more. Like that's just kind of what I do. I'm gonna wait for the bus to pass too. I talked about the ensemble homes for the workers, and I said how if you look at it from the other side, you get a better view. Now, unfortunately, it is rush hour, but I'll do my best to highlight it. It's gonna be hard to see. You can see, right, some of the arcs right there. You can see into that middle territory where, again, there are more arcs in those buildings, and it's got like more of a plaza area. I know it's full of cars right now, but obviously back in the day, it would not have been that case. But I think more interesting than anything else, are the balconies right there, right? The arced balconies where you've got like one large arced portion and then a bunch of smaller, or two smaller ones, one on each side. It's a very unusual style. And it is one of those, because of its location right here on Rusakovskaya Ulitsa, it gets, I think, kind of overlooked or ignored, which is unfortunate, but if I'm not mistaken, those buildings are protected. They might not be, but I think they are. Anyway, very interesting homes. Again, just like another example of the experimental nature of the buildings in this area. We're gonna take a look back at this one, the one that still is with us, just to get a better view of it, right? Like, I don't know. You tell me. Tell me in the comments, is this better? Or is this better? I mean, granted, you might argue that the interiors are nicer here, or that the square meters are larger here, although that's not a guarantee. I'm just gonna be completely honest. But the other thing to keep in mind too is that if you've lived in this apartment for a long time, you've probably done repairs to it and you've probably fixed it up a little bit. But anyway, this is what it gets replaced with, all in due time. Oh my God. All right, now that is a building that I have never even noticed before. Wow, that's not a pretty building. But like, I also kind of love it for it, you know? Yeah, I don't know. It could also just be that it's right next to a busy road, two busy roads, and as a result, it's just as filthy. So, I don't know. Okay. We are slowly coming back to where we need to be. Okay, we are passing under the third transport ring. And we're gonna take one last little detour. And check, is this? Yes, yes, yes. Okay. And classic kind of Stalinist architecture. Check out the moldings as well here. We're going down. This is actually a side street. Doesn't look like it. Looks like you're just entering into a courtyard. But the one thing that was really nice about these Stalin buildings is that they are so massive. They're so tall, and they're so thick that they just block all of the sound of the roads. So, okay. So the first video I made for the Krasnoselskaya region was it was me coming out of the metro, going into the metro, doing all that, and I showed a mosaic in the metro, and I was like, oh, I love Soviet mosaics. Well, there's one more in this region that I do want to highlight, and that is this one right over here, where they're doing the work. Fantastic. Well, I guess not much can be done about that. It's that season right now, assuming that we're going to be experiencing a lot of that as we walk around. So, you can probably see it already. There it is, Svyaz SSSR. This is, Svyaz is like connection, but yeah, I'm assuming that this was connected to electrical connections or telephone connections. Well, actually, the lightning bolt, pretty obviously it's electrical. That's it. There's really nothing else to be said about it. It just a cool little mosaic in this area. And again, we got some smaller, older buildings. I think that one right there is a new building, but this three-story one, three-story buildings by and large are historical. That's a general rule of thumb. But let's go down here. Oh, goody, we got survey work. So, yeah, ooh. Can you smell that? No, you can't. Of course not. You're watching a video. But that is the smell of long-distance trains. I have not ridden one in a very long time, but that is not a smell you forget. So, I mentioned earlier how this was a bit of a pocket neighborhood, and I said that there were tracks that ran this direction. Those are those tracks. They are leaving from Krasnoselskaya rail station. So, that is DPS. We are near the traffic police, but I'm gonna go ahead. I guess I might as well film myself that way. That way nobody thinks I'm filming something else. Anyway, long story short, that's kind of it for this region. Well, not exactly. We're gonna pop out here in a second, and I guess there's maybe one last thing, but we've done a pretty good job today, at least, of covering the Krasnoselskaya region. But this is only half of it. Those train tracks I just motioned towards, that's kind of the division. There is a whole other part with other things to show and share with you on the other side of these tracks. Now, I'm not gonna get there today. That's just not gonna happen. But it's coming soon enough. Now, what I will say is this area, because it is a bit of a pocket, it's a little bit more cut off. It doesn't have, I'm actually gonna go this way for just a second. It's a little less trendy, right? We had that chocolate factory, we had the railroad tracks, we had like the third ring road. Can I get out here? I don't know. Maybe, I guess. Yeah, we're good. So, whoa, okay, I gotta show this. I know this is dumb, but yo, whoever laid the bricks here, I love this. If they would just do this all over the city, I would be probably substantially happier about the brickwork. Oh, God, yes. It's like 3D, but not 3D. It's arrows, it's not arrows. Anyway, beside the point. Yeah, that area back there is totally cut off. Now, the other one on the other side of the tracks, back in that direction, that is a little less cut off. That is in the direction of Baumanskaya. And when you get over in that area, because Baumanskaya is an area that's pretty frequented by students, because there's a university in that region, then you're gonna have a lot more cafes, you're gonna have more restaurants, things of that nature. I might as well just walk back up here and get a view of the railroad. So, and actually you can kind of see that from the people who are walking in this direction. Students who maybe don't want to take the dark blue line of the metro, but want to take the red line of the metro, they would walk in this direction. Anyway, this half of the, again, I'm including it because it's in that radius of the metro. This is the area where there are more restaurants, more places to eat, more places to drink, and there are historical buildings there. There's no doubt about that, but it's more of it's a bit more trendy. This area over here, where we just walked around for the last, I don't know how many videos, I don't know, it feels a bit more historical or a bit more niche. It is definitely more of what I think most people would consider the Krasnoselskaya region, but again, the rule for these videos is that a 1 kilometer radius circle drawn around the metro station. Now, 1 kilometer does extend that direction. And I'm gonna be going and filming that. I'll be explaining a little bit more to my rationale in pushing kind of a little bit deeper into the overlap with the Baumanskaya region, but I'll do a little bit more explaining about that next time because there's just not something I'm gonna get into right now. I guess I'm gonna kind of finish it up. There is maybe one last thing I could show, but I'll probably just do a cutaway with that. So I'll do a cutaway. I'm not gonna say goodbye just yet, but this is kind of where we end things for today. So the bridge I was just standing on is back this way. Again, a little street art, not much to it, but there is also one last stop we have to make before I finish up in this region. I completely forgot about it earlier in the afternoon. After the coffee, there was one thing I was going to do, but we're gonna take a little jump. We're gonna go all the way back up the street. Well, you're not going to. I'm gonna go all the way back up the street to where the Abrikosov house was. Okay, so one last final stop in this area. I already had a coffee, and I said one of the other things that I wanted to do while doing these little walking tours is also try to get some street food. Now, this isn't going to be exactly street food. Also, I had to take a look at the Abrikosov house one last time, the Abrikosov residence. But it is a food that's kind of considered a street food. Chibureki, basically fried bread and dough. And I've actually seen other English language Russian YouTube channels go to this restaurant before, but they go to the one that's in the center of the city. It's called Sovietsky Vremena, or Vremeni. Anyway, let me put the camera down a little bit more. It's a little bit more comfortable for me. Excuse the hand. It's kind of kitsch. I mean, it's all decked out in Soviet stuff, but it supposedly has the best chibureki, according to one of the Telegram street food channels that I follow. So let's go give it a shot. And this is actually the original location, the one that is in the center of the city, the one that I have seen other people visit. It's not the original, so let's go check it out. Yeah, there we go. Sovietsky Vremena, Chiburechная. Let's check this out. Oh, of course, we got the all Soviet memorabilia. Of course. All right. Let me order, and then I'll be back with the food. All right. Well, I'm not an expert on eating in front of everyone, but I've got a chiburek right here. It's minced beef, specifically what I got, with minced onion in there as well. It's all fried in this sort of something that looks like you would get it at a state fair food stand. So it's not. I'm gonna have to wait just a little bit. Got the classic Zhiguli piva, the classic Russian beer. I don't know, it's fine, just like a basic lager. It feels appropriate, given the type of food, but. So far, no meat. Just like, it keeps falling to the back end. Keeps falling to the back end of the chiburek, but we'll get there eventually. It is still super, super hot. It did come out like piping hot, so I guess that's to be expected. Anyway. Oh shit. Okay. Come on, meat, meat. One thing to remember with chiburek is that because the meat is like cooked inside the dough, there can be like juice from the meat inside of it, and if you're not careful, you can get scorched a little bit by it. So I just did that. All right, all the meat has officially fallen to the back. Hold on. No. I gotta be honest, I'm not like the biggest chiburek fan. If I had not seen this specific location recommended in that food channel, I can put a link to the food channel. If anybody's interested for it, comment down below and I'll link it, or I'll answer it with the name of the Telegram channel. But yeah, it was in this region, and it did have like the highest score for the best chiburek of 2025 from that specific channel. So I don't know, I'm not a big fan of the chiburek in general, but it does fit the street food. It is here, so why not, right? All right, moment of truth is the next bite. We're finally getting, well, you can see the steam, I think, maybe from that. There's really not that much meat in this. Like, it's really not much meat at all. A little stingy on the meat, not gonna lie. I got an onion that time. Still no meat. All right, here we go. It's fine. It's not great. It's kind of like the chocolate cake from the coffee shop I had earlier today. It's okay. I mean, like, could they have just made the chiburek like half the size, but then it would have been a little bit more filled with meat? Yeah, probably. The meat itself is okay. Got a little bit of spice, and it is mostly just diced onions inside the beef. It's also not like the highest quality ground beef. It's kind of basic minced meat with minced onions inside of it. So I don't know. It's okay. Like, if you've never had it before, I mean, I guess would it be worth coming all the way out here to try it? No. I can understand why they built one in the center. It's a little bit more touristy. I'll be completely honest, I've had better chibureki like at train stations. Granted, it was a long time ago, but yeah, I don't know. There's something there. There's some sort of additional spice I can't quite put my finger on. Right. What is it? It's like... It's I'm not going to be able to remember. If I figure it out later, I'll write it down here. It's something my wife uses when cooking different stews and stuff, and I just cannot think of the word right now. It's like a little seed. It has that flavor to it, but I don't even know if that's the correct one. And I can't even remember what it is, so what difference does it make? I don't know. Let's see, maybe I can... It's like an exotic flavor, kind of... I mean, obviously it's from a plant. I was gonna say floral, but it's not floral. I don't know. It's fine. Yeah, not. I would say that if this is the best one of the year from that food blog, then. And I really feel bad about the rest of the chikureki that they ate during the year. That was kind of whatever. The chikurek was 200 rubles, so also, I don't know. I would have rather had shawarma, not gonna lie. Would have been the same cost, would have been significantly better. But I'm gonna finish my beer, I'm gonna wrap this up, and then we'll take this outside in just a second. Well, that was that. Definitely not as good as from what I had read. I guess that probably makes sense for a Soviet nostalgia place. It really just kind of leans into the aesthetics, but the overall food and experience is kind of mid at best. But I guess that's where I'm going to end it here in the Krasnoselskaya region today. Yeah, I honestly do not know how many videos I'm going to split this up into. I have been walking around for the last 3 to 4 hours. I have probably about 2 to 2.5 hours worth of footage that I'm going to have to break up into probably half-hour segments, things of that nature. But I don't know. Kind of was familiar with this region before. Like I said, I have to get my medical policy here. I knew the Dom Abrakozov. I was familiar with that before I came here today. A lot of these places I had been to. Most of the stuff on the other side of Titica, when we went to the monastery, that was the first time I had been there. When we were in the Muscovites ulica, up in that area too, or down in that area, I guess, from here. That was also kind of a new thing for me. But it's gonna sound weird, a little bit of a callback at this point in time. I have to say, the best thing that happened while out filming today, and this is probably in a few videos ago, in whatever the release schedule will end up being, the old woman I ended up talking to. And I can't guarantee that that's going to happen every time I go out. I probably won't. But I hope it does. I hope it does. Yeah, I don't know. There's not much more I can say about that. I hope, ultimately, I know you've probably heard little endings to the videos at various points, but this is me actually saying it to you right now. This time in person, even though it's probably like the 4th or the 5th video. But I hope you saw something interesting out here in the Krasnoselskaya region. Like I said, there's a whole other half that I'm gonna have to do. I don't know when I'll get around to it, maybe tomorrow, but but that little kid is loving the fact that I'm filming myself. Anyway, if you enjoyed these walk around tours, if you liked having a bit more of this in-depth, like on the street, actually going around, not just hitting the main sites, but like actually taking it through the region and seeing what there is to be seen, like actually kind of experiencing a part of the city like you might experience if you lived here, if you worked here, if you had a reason to come here once a year, for example, like getting your insurance policy renewed, then just like always, leave a like, leave a comment. It's always appreciated, but I probably need to get home. The sun is lowering, and I honestly have put in way more steps than I was planning to today. gotta stay fit, gotta stay active. But anyway, everyone, yeah, have a good evening, good afternoon, whatever time of the day it is that you happen to be watching this. Take care of yourselves. I'll see you the next time I see you, and until then, this has been Russia in Context. Thanks for watching.